Hello, Yucaipa. It truly is an honor to stand here today with a group of dedicated professionals committed to making Yucaipa safer for everybody who calls it home, for people who visit, shop, or work here. Homelessness has become a national epidemic. It's spreading, and California has been hit the hardest. Unfortunately, the city of Yucaipa is not immune. For anyone driving the boulevard, shopping around town, or trying to enjoy Center Park, you know. You've seen the problem grow. This brings with it inhumane and unsanitary living situations and crime that is eroding our city's reputation as one of the safest cities in the state. In conversations in person and on social media, residents and business owners have made their opinions clear. Clean up the streets of Yucaipa. I'm here to tell you, Yucaipa, we've heard you, and we're doing something about it. On September 25th, Council adopted the Homeless Strategic Plan, which clearly lays out our intent to combat homelessness and related crime in our community. The Homeless Strategic Plan outlines a systematic and proactive approach to address homelessness so that residents of Yucaipa can live in safe, family-friendly communities with a high quality of life. To do this, the plan aims to get those people suffering from homelessness the help they need and get off the streets. And for those who insist on breaking the law, the plan aims to hold them accountable with equal enforcement of the law. As a lifelong resident of Yucaipa, I hate when I see tent camps on the side of the road or homeless people intoxicated in our parks, intimidating law-abiding families. The rule of law must reign supreme and apply to all. This is a priority shared by my colleagues. We are committed to the residents of our community. We are committed to getting results. To tell you a little more about the homeless situation in Yucaipa, I'd like to turn it over to our Chief of Police, Captain Michael Walker.
Good afternoon. The population of unhoused individuals in San Bernardino County has ballooned over the last 5 years. In 2018, the estimated population in the county was a little more than 2,100. In 2023, that number grew to almost 4,200, nearly double. Yucaipa's numbers are manageable by comparison. Our homeless population is currently estimated at 30 individuals, with about 22 of those unhoused. These numbers are based on the county's annual point-in-time count. We believe the actual number of unhoused individuals in the city may be higher based on deputy contacts in the field, but the point-in-time count is the official baseline number. Although the underlying reasons for individuals becoming unhoused are complex, we have experienced that many of the unhoused in Yucaipa suffer from mental illness and/or addiction issues. In addition, we have witnessed a growing number of unhoused persons in Yucaipa have come here from other communities after becoming homeless. Living on the streets can be dangerous, and a big safety threat to the unhoused are other unhoused individuals. This is an important fact to consider because it means that not addressing the issue is not only jeopardizing the safety for residents and businesses, but is putting unhoused individuals themselves at risk of becoming victims of crime. The Yucaipa Police Department has been stepping up its enforcement efforts with the support of the City Council. The Homeless Strategic Plan incorporates the Council's recent changes to the municipal code to address some of the biggest concerns in the community. The Council updated the city's municipal code to crack down on aggressive panhandling and blocking public rights of way. It is important that we all feel safe to shop and conduct business around town. As deputies began to clear camping that blocked public rights of way, we saw these individuals move into our wilderness areas, leading to fire risks. City staff identified a law that permitted the fire chief to restrict camping in fire-prone areas. This allows city to clear camps in those high fire danger areas. Our most recent challenge is the occupation and use of vacant and red tag properties as drug houses. The council recently amended the municipal code to give the city the tools necessary to go after the owners of these vacant properties that are blighting our neighborhoods and attracting crime. Over the past year, we have dealt with several fentanyl and overdose-related calls for service and death investigations among the unhoused population in town. We have also seen an increase in reported thefts and shoplifting from our local businesses. A crime is a crime, regardless of who is committing it. the Yucaipa Police Department is stepping up enforcement to protect the law-abiding residents of Yucaipa. For those in Yucaipa that insist on causing trouble, this plan aims to hold them accountable. Now I'd like to turn it over to our city manager, Chris Mann.
Thank you, Captain. To your point, being homeless is not a crime, nor should it be a free pass to commit crime. Earlier this year, the Council identified homelessness as one of its top priorities. While this is a problem throughout the country, and particularly in California, the city of Yucaipa is no longer willing to be a passive spectator as we watch our community deteriorate due to the crime and blight that come with homelessness on our streets. As we began to strategize our plan, it became apparent that our police department was doing everything it could, but we lacked a systematic approach to the problem. To develop our plan, staff analyzed existing efforts at the state and county levels, as well as neighboring jurisdictions. We wanted to see what was working and what was not working. We wanted to know what resources were already at our disposal so that we could leverage those resources as part of our plan to address homelessness. We also wanted to make sure that our local efforts aligned with and supported regional plans. During this process, we made several discoveries. First, we discovered that our municipal code had become dated and did not reflect the most recent changes in the law and current best practices. The legal landscape as it relates to homelessness is under constant evolution. Historically, it was understood that living in a community meant balancing the rights of the individual against the common good. However, over the past several decades, changes in constitutional law have resulted in relations between persons and public spaces being defined in terms of individual rights alone. In California, strict limitations have been placed on the ability of cities to control nuisance behaviors, such as public intoxication and vagrancy. The result? Tent cities, public intoxication, consequence-free break-ins, and dangerous conditions in many public spaces. Residents of Yucaipa are understandably upset. However, the legal landscape continues to restrict how local governments may respond. The most consequential recent decision underlying our current landscape is the 2018 Martin v. Boise ruling made by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. This ruling found it unconstitutional to prosecute people for sleeping in public spaces when they have no alternative shelter. Cities grappling with homelessness are under the microscope and must be mindful of potential legal challenges from a variety of advocacy organizations. However, the city of Yucaipa refuses to cede our streets, parks, and public spaces to crime, blight, and other threats to public health and safety. To ensure that the city is in full compliance of the law, the City Council updated many aspects of our municipal code, as Captain Walker just mentioned. Although many residents are frustrated and understandably want the city to take a hard-nosed approach, we must also be careful to safeguard everyone's rights. This means leading with compassion, leading with a helping hand. We will endeavor to connect those in need with whatever services are appropriate based on their situation. To that end, Yucaipa has an advantage that many cities don't. We have enough shelter beds here in our city to make good on our offer to help, thanks in large part to a partnership with Set Free Church. We also live in a county and a region that has an abundance of available services, such as shelters, mental health treatment, drug and alcohol treatment, veteran services, etc. The second thing we discovered is that the city has had 2 quality of life deputies assigned to the Yucaipa Police Station as part of our contract with the Sheriff's Department, as well as 2 County Department Behavioral Health social workers. And while these resources have existed previously, the city has not utilized them in an orchestrated manner. Rather, they were essentially left to their own devices and working independently. While having these quality of life deputies and social workers are a great start, homelessness is a multifaceted problem, requiring the attention of a multidisciplinary team. To build out a sufficient team, we needed to add support from a newly created code enforcement officer position dedicated to homelessness, from Public Works, from our park rangers, and from city administration. We now call this group the Solutions-Oriented Policing, or SOP, team. The final thing we discovered is that the city's response to homelessness had been ad hoc and lacking a comprehensive strategy. With recently adopted ordinances that put teeth into the municipal code, we were ready to pull it all together with a systematic approach. Thus, we developed the 5-step process. Step 1 is to identify housing and other resources that we can offer to our unsheltered population. Our new SOP team will become experts at connecting individuals with services. They will become familiar with every available resource and develop relationships with those who manage shelters, run drug and alcohol treatment programs, etc. Having alternative shelter, such as Set Free Church, available to unhoused individuals on our streets allows the city to take enforcement action. Step 2 is for our SOP team to make contact with our unsheltered population. Every day, the SOP team will go out into the community and approach every homeless individual they encounter. Day after day, each homeless person will be contacted and services will be offered. Step 3. For those individuals who refuse help and are violating a state or local law, Yucaipa PD will enforce the law to keep our community safe. It will be made abundantly clear that public nuisances and violations of the law will not be tolerated. Those who are on our streets with the intention of doing drugs and committing crimes will quickly realize that they will not be left alone, and they may just decide that Yucaipa is no longer the easiest place for them to be. Step 4 includes reducing attractants. Vacant properties being used as drug houses, the Omnitrans bus system, and well-meaning churches and other nonprofits distributing food and supplies have all been attracting homeless individuals to Yucaipa. The city will work with property owners, Omnitrans, and churches to make meaningful action that will eliminate these attractants. Step 5 is to work with the community to achieve these goals. This includes educating the public on how to report homelessness and related crime, and how to avoid behaviors that enable and attract homelessness, such as giving money to panhandlers. We all need to do our part to keep our community safe, and to make sure that people get the help that they need. This plan was developed through extensive consultation with law enforcement, public and behavioral health professionals, legal counsel, and local homeless individuals. It is now my honor to introduce to the community our new solutions-oriented policing team. The team is organized and led by Public Safety Manager Trevor Benson. The team includes 2 Sheriff's Department Quality of Life deputies. We have with us today Deputy Gene Juarez. The team includes 1 code enforcement officer position dedicated solely to the SOP team, Officer Diana Serrano. The team includes 2 county behavioral health clinicians, and we have with us today social worker George Armendariz. The SOP team will be working in cooperation and conjunction with our park rangers and our public works department. We have with us today Ranger Adolfo Cruz and Deputy Director of Public Works Scott Washburn. We believe this team and this plan will be effective in drastically reducing and preventing homelessness and related crime in Yucaipa. Through it, we will work to keep our streets, sidewalks, parks, and other public facilities clean and safe. I would now like to turn it back over to Mayor Beaver.
As stated, the city will lead with a helping hand and will ensure each homeless individual is treated with respect and dignity and that their rights are respected. However, the city will not tolerate crime, lawlessness, or nuisance behaviors by anyone, homeless or otherwise. In Yucaipa, being homeless is not an excuse to endanger public health, block public right-of-way, intimidate others through aggressive solicitation, steal, be intoxicated in public, trespass, cause blight, create fire dangers, or take away the rights of law-abiding citizens trying to enjoy parks or other public facilities. This is not a soft-on-crime plan. Although this plan leads with the intent to get help to people who need it, this is a plan to facilitate the systematic and aggressive enforcement of law. As your mayor, I can say that my colleagues and I are committed to keeping Yucaipa safe. However, we need your help. Everyone has a role to play. If you see something, say something. You see an encampment in a wilderness area, see suspicious activity in an abandoned home, see people intoxicated at a park, report it. If you see an individual who appears homeless and in need of help, or who may be committing a crime, report it. All of these things can be reported by calling the non-emergency dispatch line, the numbers on your screen. You can also report anonymously through the Yucaipa app, which can be downloaded on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. We need everyone working together so that we can turn this tide and preserve Yucaipa as the jewel of the Inland Empire. Thank you.